All right, we are live. So, welcome back to another episode of the Froz-Øne podcast. I think this is episode 5, I believe, and we are here with a special guest. He is a Tennessee swimmer, Olympian for the Bahamas, Mr. Lamar Taylor. Lamar, how you been?
What's up? I'm just chilling. Really nice to meet you, man. Good to have me. Good to be here, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was gonna say, uh, like I said, he's a Bahamas Olympian, but for some other people that may not know some of your accolades and some of your accomplishments throughout your career, do you kind of want to tell the audience like who Lamar Taylor really is?
Yeah. So started off at Henderson Division Two. Uh, was an All American my freshman year. All American my sophomore year. 3 national titles my junior year. Also another 3 national titles my senior year, along with national record in the 200 freestyle relay, and then had an option to swim uh, for another year, my fifth year. So I decided to transfer to Tennessee. Now I'm trying to replicate my junior and senior year as much as I can, whether it be in a national record or a national title. Either one would work for me.
Right on. I was gonna say I actually got to meet you for the first time. I think it was when Atlanta Classic.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so that was the first time I met you. I actually didn't even know you were a transfer until we chopped it up. Gonna say, how have you been enjoying Tennessee? How's your experience been since you've been there?
Tennessee as a whole has been nice. Like there's so much more to do than where I was at in Arkansas, and it's just nice. It's beautiful. Like the culture is amazing. Like everywhere that you go, you just see like Tennessee, like the tea everywhere, and like everyone in Tennessee, like Knoxville, is like a huge Tennessee fan. So like if they see you wearing like Tennessee gear or just like anything in general that represents Tennessee, they'll just like say something simple as like, "Oh, go Vols," or like ask you what sport you play. Or like training wise, it's like a huge adjustment from what I was doing in at Henderson. Like there's so many. It's so precise. Like everything's like written down to the T. Every minute of the hour is written down to the T, and it's it's helpful. I would definitely say, but it's definitely tiring. Like my first week or two here, it was a struggle. I was just getting thrown around, beat up. It was hard. Not gonna lie, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna,
Now that I'm here for
yeah,
like, I think my third month, it's been going smooth.
it's awesome. I didn't know Henderson was in Arkansas. I was actually gonna ask you where Henderson was,
Yeah.
um, and that was actually one of my questions. I was gonna ask you. You know that you kind of answered it a little bit, but you know that culture between like a Division 1 school and a Division 2 school, like not only just like the training at the two schools, but like the way that people like their mindsets within swimming, like how is there truly a difference between that D1 and D2 mindset, or are they like people don't understand like they actually are a lot more similar than people make it from?
There are some similarities, and then there's like some key differences. Like the similarities like that I can think of the best is like, in no matter what team you're on, like it's always gonna be like a family. Like you're walking into a family, like, and everyone has each other's back, like brothers and sisters, and like they make sure like you're doing well in school or doing well in the pool or just like doing well in general. So like it's just that family aspect. But I would definitely say like training wise, like in Division 2, there's going to be some guys like who are essentially like, I like to say like Division 2 is sort of like the G League, and like D1 is like the NBA. So like you have a lot of guys who are trying to like grind and like get it, like try and make it out of Division 1, or like the like I mean out of Division 2, or like some guys are happy in Division 2 and just like how I would say less competitive it is, and just like happy to be there. But uh it is there's a difference. Like from what I noticed, like in Division 2, you find more people who are essentially just, I would say, using their athletics to get an education. They have the opportunity to go to school and also have the opportunity to use that athletics part of it to help with scholarship and just get through school. And in Division One, I would just say like everyone's so hungry to be at the top. Like there's so much lights, cameras, and like just attention drawn to, especially in the SEC, that everyone's trying to like win a title or just like be up on the top. So it's the main difference is just like they're just in Division One, they're just more hungry and like everyone's trying to be the top and like you know, and Division Two is just like you have some people who are hungry to get out of Division Two and make it in Division One, but I feel like a lot of them are happy sometimes with where they're at and still trying to make a name for themselves, but have built such a culture and just like build a foundation of family in Division Two that they just feel comfortable to say them.
Honest. Hey, I love every little bit of that, especially the hunger piece, that affiliation with the D2 being like the G League, D1 being the NBA. Kind of like that because I always grew up with a bunch of people always saying I had two sides. There was always the sides like, hey, no matter what, if you're a collegiate athlete, you're a collegiate athlete. But then you had the other flip of the coin where it was like, if you're not going D1, why are you even going? But people don't understand like D2s, hell, even like JUCOs and stuff like that is still a good route to go.
Yeah,
Especially like, let's say you didn't have the brightest of grades in high school and you have to go to that D2 or that JUCO, and then you can make it out. Or if you weren't necessarily had the best times, which your times are no slouches. I mean, 19-0, that would have made D1 NCAAs.
yeah,
So I mean, no slouch times at all whatsoever. But like a lot of people I don't think understand like those lower divisions are still very competitive and a lot of people still like try to grind those out. So I really like that
yeah,
comparison to like the G League into the NBA, trying to prove yourself into making the big leagues. Yeah, I
yeah.
really like that.
I was kind of the same way when it came towards like the whole recruiting process. Like
Mm.
I'll be honest, like I didn't really care that much in high school, and I kind of regret it now. Like I was I was just a passing student, but I felt like if I did the extra mile, like I could have been a different spot. But at the same time, like my times, I never swam yards. In my like I swam yards once or twice, but it wasn't as consistently as America does. So I had to go based off of my long course transition converted times, and they did no justice. Like I think at the beginning, like right before I even went into like my first dual meet, I think my 50 free was like a 22, my 100 free was like a 50, and then my 100 back was like a 53 or something like that, converted into yards. So I mean, I've dropped like 3 seconds and 5 and 6 seconds in all those. So like sometimes I think it's like, oh, if my freshman year, like if I went through the times that and the year that I swam, if I used those as my recruiting uh, times, I wonder where I would be now. But I'm glad I went through like the whole Division Two process to Division One, just because I would I would definitely say like it's a humbling experience. Like
Right.
you you definitely start to appreciate a whole lot more in Division One when you like get here. Because for me, like the small school that I went to, like I was extremely close with the coach, and like we didn't have that much like many things like to offer. Uh, like compared to Division Two, we didn't have like oh our athletes only care for like just snacks available and like just like those extra things like the mental health and the uh, athletic trainer, the strength trainer and stuff like that. So it's just like I came here and I was like, wow, like they aren't joking. I don't have to
Hold it
lift,
down.
I don't have to worry about anything. Like I just some days I just come to practice, I get inside the pool, I do what I gotta do. If I got a problem with my shoulder or a problem with my back, I let one of the coaches know and then or let one of the trainers know, and they were like, "All right, you can come in tomorrow this time, and we'll work on it." And I was like, that was just 2 seconds. Like back in Arkadelphia, like it was a little bit, it was kind of the same process, but it just wasn't as like quick as usual because sometimes the like how our practices were running, uh, we got out of it was 2 to 4, and I think like the training room would be closed at 4 o'clock. And before then, I had classes and stuff like so. It was just a whole spiel. Like it was hard to like get into the training room at times. I feel like that was sometimes more on my part, but definitely being here, they help with that. Like they have it like, okay, you can come in this time, yada yada yada, work on this, and just super helpful.
No, that's dope. I was gonna say that's a little weird on the Henderson State. I've never even heard of a training room, but I mean that's the thing. We're so privileged, like SEC, like you said, like they like have it, they hold it down.
Yeah,
Versus some like maybe mid D1s, D2 stuff like that. They have different systems.
yeah,
So I mean, yeah, for sure, totally. Um, Kind of want to keep the trend of like a cultures, but switch it up. I was gonna say you're originally from, of course, the Bahamas,
yeah,
swam there, uh, practically your whole life. That transition from going to the Bahamas into a new experience with like the USA Swimming NCAA lifestyle, how was that transition? Because I'm assuming just based off of the region, you had the Bahamas who you race majority people of kind of your skin tone, and then you transition into the US and you have not as many people that kind of look
yeah.
like me and you. How
Yeah,
was kind of was there what was the culture? Was there even a culture shock, or did it kind of seem familiar no matter what?
there was definitely like some culture shock, but it wasn't like as dramatic as like I thought it would have been. Like I didn't think there were. I thought it was just going to be like oh, everything that I do is called quote unquote ghetto or whatever, uh like oh, I don't like it's gonna be straight country every time I go into like the locker room, or like everyone's just gonna be listening to country stuff like that. That's what I thought at first. But then when I got there, like I noticed like we kinda had like same like the close friends that I made at Henderson, like we had like kind of the same like uh music genre that we like to listen to, like sometimes the same food, like uh there now that I think of it, like there were some culture shocks, but they weren't anything like super dramatic and like life impacting where I was like, oh, I have to like change my way. Like there would just be conversations where I just have with like past teammates, and we were talking about like how we were brought up or like just how we trained or whatever. Hey, quit. Just how we trained or whatever. And uh I was like in my back of the head, or I just say out loud, I was like, "Oh, that's strange. Like we just did it this way, you know." But there was definitely some culture shocks that I can think of. Like definitely just how like uh, frequent like people sometimes would eat out or just like have like have like the quick microwavable things. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had that in the Bahamas, but we just don't really use that. Like everything's kind of like freshly made, you know. Like we don't like for me personally. I don't know if I can speak for everyone else, but like I like the pancakes, bacon, eggs, all that. Like kind of just like from the packaging, like not the ones that you store inside the microwave. Yeah,
Right. I was gonna say, um, it's an interesting concept that I actually kind of have to agree with. It's like, I can't speak from a different like country aspect, but I can speak from like different like regions of the city, different sports. Like growing up, I always hung out with a certain group of people. So, when you hang out with those people, you kind of gain those quote unquote stereotypes. So when you go into a new area, you think like a lot of people are gonna treat you in that same like quote unquote stereotype, but then you realize, oh, maybe we have a lot more in common than
Yeah,
people really think about. So I actually, now that I'm thinking about that, I was like, now that you say that, because we're all swimmers, we probably do have a lot more in common than we really even think about just because of that one main link. So I kind of like that for sure.
yeah.
I was gonna say, what was like the training like in the Bahamas compared to like stuff over here?
What the training like in the Bahamas? It was like a lot more general, like club training, swimming.
Mm.
Like uh, you would have like the warm up, and then you have the main set, which would just be like 12 100s on like a minute 45 or something like that. Just like more general warm up. And uh, for me, where I grew up, like in Freeport, Grand Bahama, with my first coach, we didn't really do a lot of things and like weightlifting, like gym work or anything like that. It was more just like abs and like being able to control your body outside water. But when I moved to America, it was a lot more weights, a lot more like drilling and like technique stuff and stuff like that. So it was, and like the practices felt like they went on way longer. Like the yardage and stuff like that just went on, like a whole lot. Trying to think. It's been games. I've been swimming so long that like I can't even remember like what types of set I used to do when I was 14. Like
Uh,
I remember long course training. Like we did long course meters a lot, or short course meters, and it was mostly just like kind of general warm up. Like some days you'd have drills and stuff like that, but like it was mainly just like a whole lot of general club swimming, like 1250s, 650s, stuff off the blocks, like. But when I got to college, it was just more precise. Like, okay, we're going to be working on this, like your breakout off the start, or we're just going to be working on the launch on the start, like, or like where your legs got to go when you dive into the water. So just more precise things now.
Totally. Oh, I like that. I was gonna say, even the me growing up, I mean, it was pretty similar. Like that club experience, you do a lot more of that, just like more generic stuff. And then as I got into college, a lot more technique, a lot more weights, especially in college. Yardage actually went down for me, thank God. I no longer have to do those 6K sets. Now we dropped it more to like around 3K per practice. So definitely enjoy that. Would you say like the environment in practices compared to the two, like the back at home, D2, D1, like the practice environment themselves, which one was your favorite experience? And like what was just the difference between all three in general, like the just practice environment?
I would have to rank them. It's definitely like the at home one is top tier, like just number one, just off the jump, and then kind of like Division Two and Division One are kind of like the same. Well, maybe Division One is a little bit above, but like they're basically the same. The reason why I say like back at home is just because like uh, I grew up around like my friends and stuff like that, so uh, it was just all jokes. Like you would come into practice, have a quick laugh, like it was just funny the entire time, and just like it felt it felt fun when you were like 13 14 because like you didn't really have any goals. You just if you race somebody who's like, oh, I want to win, but you didn't really know like the rest of the world and like uh what other people were doing, and like you didn't really realize at a young age like how big like swimming is, or like how big times matter. So like you were just swimming to have fun and just swimming to mess around. And so it was just more like a after school activity, like just come to practice, joke around, have fun, get work done, and then go back home and like laugh about it. But uh, coming into like college, that's when I definitely started to like realize like times from different schools, like people that you're going up against, like, um, and then like just the whole world in general is like, oh, these people are bringing swimmers from Sweden, Europe, whatever. So it's like you definitely start to get a bigger sense of just like uh, how big swimming is and just like how much times matter. And like,
Right.
yeah, I may win this race, but where does that kind of stack up in like the NCAA and training at Henderson? It was fun at times, and then like there were some tough days, like where it would you would be kind of on your Thursday, and then you have like two more. You have a Friday and a Saturday practice, and it's like you're just kind of tired and beat down, and it's like everyone's just kind of in a bad mood, and it's like just trying to get through it. So like, especially with it's like, especially in like October and November-ish, like that's when you don't have any meets going on. So like you're just training, training, training. It's like I'm tired, I'm beat, and it's like I need a break. But one thing I would definitely say that Tennessee has done well is like even like at those times because we didn't have a first dual meet until October, which a lot of people already had that is like the beginning of October. We had that the late October, but like I would definitely say like just do that whole training process. Like the vibes are always high. Like they're always playing music and just talking and laughing and just trying to like motivate and bring up each other. So that was a that was a huge thing that I liked and I love actually because me personally, like some days in practice, like I'm not really talkative. I'm not really like in the mood to like swim. I just like trying to get in and out. But then like one of my teammates would just rope me in and be like, "Yo, let's go," like let's do this, do that, stuff like that, or crack a big joke or whatever. So it's definitely like loud, vibes are high and hype. Like they just get you involved.
Sure, sure. I can definitely test to that D1, just like how they try to positive. Um, I really enjoyed hearing you talk about how like the Bahamas really kept you going, especially as like a teenager and stuff. I'll get back to that in a sec, but I mean like the D1 like atmosphere, especially through training. I mean it's no joke. It's always a grind, but at the same time, they they know how to get you going. Everyone there wants to get better, so I feel like the biggest thing is that your teammates like to see you getting better as well.
Yeah,
Because I'm a big dude on iron sharpens iron. So if you swim with fast people, you get fast yourself, and then it's just that constant like gaining on top of each other. So I mean, like you can have the music blasting and everyone's laughing, but at the same time, you have that motivation of maybe you're not feeling the greatest, but when you have others that are getting you to that point of, hey, I don't care where you at mentally, we need you to get farther and higher than you've ever been before. So I like
yeah.
that. I like that analogy.
It's just a strange thing, just because like you always know, like, oh, if I'm hurting, this person's hurting, but like at a, I feel like just being at Division 1, like it carries so much more weight. Like everybody knows about Tennessee, everybody knows about Bama, like everybody knows about the Gators. I would almost say like it's sometimes like the Olympics. Like Americans, they never watch like some Americans don't never watch a day of swimming in their life. But as soon as they watch the Olympics and they see like America's up on the blocks, they become the biggest swim fan ever, and they like cheering for their name and stuff like that. So it's sort of like that, essentially being at a D1 level, just because like Tennessee and Alabama are just so known worldwide that you just it's kind of like almost prideful, you know. And I'm not saying like there's not anybody who knows about Henderson. Like I felt like while I was there, I helped, you know, bring some attention more to Henderson, and it's like, oh, this school is actually pretty quick. You know, they drop down this time, drop down that time, and I would definitely say me, Jack, Chase, and Patrick, we did a lot into that, name building. So we definitely carried a lot of pride uh, at Henderson, but it's when you come to the school that already has that name built towards it, it just means so much more when you like have to like represent it with pride.
Exactly. I mean that's our slogan in the SEC. Just means more. I mean we're using like for me the script A, U, T everywhere, and the orange. Although we have our rivalries, we still like represent our brands and the SEC, and we like just expand on it. So yeah, totally,
Yeah,
totally get you on that.
I just remember it was a tough Alfie all 2 weeks ago.
All right now, all right, bro. I knew that was gonna get brought up. Man,
I just
yeah. I'm gonna say no. I was gonna say you had one of your commits. What's his name? Miles. He was just spamming my phone after that. I'm like, I had like the DND do not disturb me on my Instagram and just all my social media, and all of a sudden he said, "Take that L." I'm like,
no,
oh, I wish you would be in when he's a freshman the year after I graduate, so I'm just gonna be like, hmm.
he can't catch this.
Otherwise,
He can't catch this work.
uh, oh snap! But nah, man, that was a tough. I mean, that was a tough game just to watch in general on both sides. Honestly, I can't even lie.
The defense
It
was. I was
was
there in person. Defense was high. Like
yeah,
there was. I would definitely like. Y'all played very well. Y'all, that was a good game. Like it came down to the wire, and there was some plays that were made. Like I don't. There was a ton of flags, but at the same time, it was. I felt like each team, like made up for it. Whereas I'm
yeah.
just we came out on top, but then can't take that away
I
from us.
was shoot. I was gonna say I'll give you that dub. I was gonna say I got some homeboys on that team, and I had to give them credit. But I
Yeah.
mean, I was watching my team. I was just like, damn, because I see them like so here at Bama. We have the pool, and then it's fenced, but the outdoor facilities, like where they practice, is literally right next to the pool, and I can hear what they're doing. Like if I'm in the outdoor pool, and I can like literally sometimes see what they're doing sometimes, and I'm like I can tell that they're working. Like I see like them walking out of facility, and they like gas, but at the same time they in that right headspace. So I'm like, oh no, they straight. And then just watching them on that TV, and like some of them, like my boy Q, he linebacker, like he doing good, but then you see some of my other homeboys and they just struggling out there. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
it's so hard. So hard to watch that sometimes. But I mean,
It's all
you gotta give credit where you gotta give credit where credit is due.
yeah. It's all a team effort. 'Cause, like I would definitely say each both teams came prepared. They wanted to win, and like they just fought till the end. It was a good game, definitely.
Yeah, it was. But don't worry, we'll get our get back next year, bro. Just don't be worried. We'll get
Maybe,
that get back next year.
maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Well, I'm not gonna talk it. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm
Mm,
just gonna say like we'll
mhm,
see.
so,
We'll see.
yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna say let me knock on wood real quick, but nah, that's yeah. Nah, I knew you was gonna say something about that too. I was waiting for it. Shoot,
I just remember
man.
looking at the A in the corner. I was like, hold on, we won.
Ah, you started.
We won. We won.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Hell yeah. But yeah, what was we even talking about before you even? Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Um, I wanted to bring back the Bahamas stuff. Now that we got back, so it's like you had all those like the friends and stuff that you hung out with, and you had so much fun like back in the Bahamas. Like, what even got you into swimming in the first place back then?
Uh, to be honest, like it was just my parents. I wouldn't say they threw me in it, but my sister swam, and my family is definitely like athletic family, so like we would just be in anything. Like I have some family members in track, some were in long jump, like a long jump side of track. Um, and my sister, she did a lot. She was in track, swimming, baseball, I think. But
Uh,
they just kind of threw me in there, and I started off swimming, and like it was just something I did at the time. It wasn't really my like I didn't really make a name for myself, but it was just something I was doing, and I transitioned into a little bit of track, did a little bit of volleyball, little bit of baseball, but swimming and track were like the only two sports that I would say I was considerably like decent at and good at, you know.
uh,
And I enjoy track, but it was one year like uh, went to a meet and pulled a hip flexor, and at the same time I had a trials meet for swimming, and like it was literally like 2 weeks apart, a week apart, and my mom was like, "Nah, you're done with track. Like you were just about like you were golden to like make the team and stuff like." I still made the team, but it's like I didn't really make the team how I wanted to make the team, and it's like you were basically had the conversation was like, yeah, like track isn't it anymore, you know, this and that, just focus on swimming and like I enjoyed it. Like I enjoy swimming. Like I love racing, hate practicing a little bit more, but love racing, love meeting new people, you know, just being able to
well,
travel and stuff like that. Like I've been all around the world and it's fun.
yeah, for sure. I was gonna say you said the pulled hamstring part in track, and I started laughing a little bit because I low key have a story just like that, and it's like I was dual sport track, did like the 400 high jump, triple, you name it. Within sprinting and jumping, I probably did it. But I actually have two stories. Like my freshman year, I was having low back and hamstring issues, kept pulling them, and then I was out for like a couple weeks, but then I was good. But my senior year, um, I pulled my back at junior nationals. Wasn't able to swim the 50 free finals on the last day, so I'm just watching like my homeboys like race, and I'm like, dude, what? And then a couple weeks later, track season starts, and I'm also supposed to be getting ready for just like summer and stuff like that, some meets.
Mm,
And I think I got within, I got a week's worth of track practices in, and I'm not stretching good. My hip flexors, my quads, everything in my legs are tight, and then all of a sudden, my back pulls out, like pulls again
yeah,
and worse. Like I'm bed rested at this point, and I'm just like, dude, this is like the worst experience. And I think that was like the moment, like, all right, I can't do track anymore. I
yeah,
have to, it's solely swim.
yeah,
But it's funny how life life tells you what sports you're supposed to do at the certain moments. Because I mean, you had your freaks like Dion that can do like football and baseball, but then like swim is brutal enough. You add track on top of that, and it's just a whole nother story, dude. So
you get like some of the endurance wise because like I was just at first I was good at like the 800 and 1500 and stuff like that. And shit, hold on, my fault.
I'm
Hold on.
good. Oh, I'll just pause it real quick.
Come here.
Sorry. Oh, we back. Oh shoot, there's a dog. Oh snap, cute old dog right there.
Appreciate it.
You, yeah.
A German Shepherd Husky mix.
Oh snap. Oh yeah, that's a good dog right there. I was gonna say it sheds a lot though.
Yeah, that's. If you look around my room, there's hair everywhere. Every hair on my clothes, hair on my shoes, hair on my beanies.
Ah nah.
It's hard, and it's hard to get it
Yeah.
out. Like you think like a roller would just get it out, but no, no.
No, it's that long hair too. I
Yeah,
was gonna say, yeah. It's that, yeah, it's rough. But
yeah.
nah. Um
What was the question
Oh,
again?
oh, I think we were talking about we were just talking like track stuff, and you said something about you were doing like the 800 and 1500 and stuff.
Yeah, like it. I was just good at the 800 and the 1500 just because like swimming wise and just like endurance. But then I transitioned into like the 400 a little bit more, and
Mm.
just because of like swimming, like you warm up at like maybe 2 o'clock, and then like you can go like an hour before you have to like swim, and you'll be fine, or like 2 to 2:30 in like that 30 minute span. But in track, like you just I didn't really know that you have to like constantly keep your body warm, because like in swimming you can kind of get away with like your body being cold for like maybe 10, 15 minutes, and like you won't perform like how you expect to perform, but at the same time like you wouldn't like really injure anything, you know so like me being cold for like 30 minutes like kind of threw it off, and then like I pulled out and I was like, you know decided to stop, and I was like, what, time to focus on swimming, and glad it did, to be honest.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
yeah, totally get that. Let's see, what was it? Well, thank God that you did stick to swimming because you did something that a lot of people haven't done or can't really say they done. Represent your country at Olympics. Your most recent was the 2024 games. Kind of just tell me like how was it like to be able to represent the Bahamas at 2024?
It was just definitely like a prideful thing to do. Like I was just extremely proud to be there, and uh, being able to know that I was one of like 30 athletes to go to Paris and represent the Bahamas. Like it was just such a surreal thing, and just like that was like that's one of like my bucket list like biggest life goal, like up there, like just to make the Olympics, and just being able to finally like call myself an Olympian is like such like uh I don't even know, it's like it just made me so happy. Like it was just almost, I almost brought myself to tears. Like sometimes when I think about it, I be like, wow, I finally made it. Like I finally called myself an Olympian. Like made it to like essentially like the best of the best. Because you have world championships, which is one of the best, but at the Olympics, like that's where everything goes down, and that's when everybody shows out, and that's when everybody just like goes all out. So like it's a difference, like just being there and being in that environment for sure.
For sure. I was gonna say like you talk about it's prideful and you're proud to be one of you said 30 to represent.
Yeah.
Um, how did people respond to like you making the team? Like, did you have like a bunch of like people back at home or just like heck people in America? Because some people don't even realize like unless you're an American Olympian, they don't sometimes even know unless they see the rings. Like, did you get a lot of feedback from both like back at home and in the States on
Yeah,
it?
like it was mostly back at home where I had like a ton of people like texting me and stuff like that and saying congratulations and just being supportful. But then I also had like some people on the American side, just from like people that I made from like Division Two, my girlfriend and her family as well. Like that was super happy for me, and like uh, there was kind of both sides, but more on the sides of like in the Bahamas, just because like you're as soon as you make Bahamas Olympic team, like you just become like a face, and like everybody knows you, and like you just know, like everyone sees you, and it's like that's one of our Olympians, So it was definitely more on the Bahamian side where it was most of the love and the support and stuff like that, and just like the constant text messages and just like constant checking up on me.
Holy, sure. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I mean, I love to hear that. Just for anyone in general. Um, Not gonna take up too much more of your time. Really only have Couple like two more questions that I always like to finish up. Um, I mean, of course, like we've said multiple times, like as a Bahama Olympian, there's probably several, if not hundreds of kids back at home that probably look up to you as a role model and see you and say, I want to be that when I grow up. Or heck, even in the States, people that have seen you race and be like, I want to be you when I grow up. Um, as somewhat of a role model, who is the role model of Lamar Taylor? Who inspired Lamar Taylor just to be who he is today? And it doesn't even have to be a swimmer. It could be, just anybody.
Yeah, it was. I would definitely say it was mostly like at the start. It was like my like Michael Phelps. Like Michael Phelps definitely motivated me. Like you see like all the stuff that he does and like the accolades that he made, and like I just wanted to be like him essentially, and just wanted to be as close to him as possible. But then like as I got older, like he still is like a role model to me, but it was right now it's just mostly like my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister. Like they play like such an important role in my life, and like they help me through like the thick and thins, and just like help me through tough practices and talk me down whenever like I'm like doubting myself. So like just definitely those three people just like help me so much, and I love them for that.
Sure. For sure. And then really the only other thing that I have is, um a tip that you may want to give people out there to encourage them and motivate them to be successful.
I always say the same thing whenever like someone asks me like a tip on life or a tip on swimming. It's just like eat like the process is being made. Like even if you think you're stuck at a CM level or you're stuck at like a 22-2 or a 21-9, or like you're never gonna like, drop time ever again. Like it's the process is always being made. Whether it's in recovery or just like learning a new skill, like you're always making progress, like no matter like the day that you walk inside the water. So like it's just like keeping that positive mindset and just like continue like getting back inside the pool, get inside the water, getting back inside the gym, like just consistently working on your craft. Because like at the end of the day, like the more you work on it, you're gonna make progress. Like no matter what, it's you're always making progress. So just that, you know, on keep on like saying to yourself like if I'm making 1%, 2%, 5% a day, like those percents add up at the end of the year, you know. So it's like just and also just be happy with like the small successes that you make. Like even if you only drop like a half a second or like 0.25 of a second, like you're still dropping time, so you're still progressing, you're still getting better. And like one year or one day or one meet, you're gonna drop like astronomical amounts of time, and like everything's gonna finally click. Like that's my tip.
I'm stealing that quote, by the way. The process is being made. That's something that I've never heard, and yeah, I'm stealing that. That's a good one.
Hey,
Not
if
gonna
you
lie.
use it, just add me. Just make sure you give credit. Just make sure you give
For
credit.
sure. Yeah, trade add that copyright on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, man, that's really all I got. Really, I was just say is what's next for you? Like, I know you got when's mid season, like what, 4 weeks for us? So just training for that, right?
Yeah, I think our invite is in like 2 or 3 weeks. So like
Yeah,
I think Auburn, UV is gonna be there, some
yeah,
smaller schools, but that's the main meet we're like looking forward to right now is invite.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say we have ours in Athens. I know Georgia's gonna be there. Other than that, I'm not sure who else is gonna be there. So we're getting excited for that. We're racing fast in practice. So but we have LSU, FSU on the 8th. So we have to get ready for that try meet first before we get ready for our duel. So or our invite. So
I don't think
but
we have that many dual meets like this semester, but the second semester, uh, Actually, at the end of the year, like in December, we go against Kentucky.
Okay.
So, but I know for like this year, like we don't really have that many dual meets. I think next semester that's when like we have a lot of dual meets and a good
Yeah.
amount. So right now it's just
I was
me
gonna, s-
and
yeah, I was gonna say because I know you come to us January, and that's our last home meet. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. You already got gonna say, hey man, I was gonna say we already know we already know it's gonna be going down in Tuscaloosa. I was gonna say that. I say it's going down in Tuscaloosa.
hey,
Uh,
I'm not gonna say anything. Just be prepared. That's I'm a
oh, so
we gonna
you
be
ain't gotta worry. You ain't
we
gotta
gonna be
worry.
prepared. Y'all just gotta be prepared for whatever happens. That's all I'm gonna say.
I was
So
gonna say you ain't gotta worry about us being prepared. We ready. This is our house, so you know we stay ready. So
hey,
hey, hands up. That's all. Yeah, that's all we're gonna do.
hey,
Hey, all right.
yeah, man.
But nah, I appreciate you hopping on the podcast, and I appreciate everyone that came and watched the this episode of the Froz-Øne podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. And yeah,
Tease up, baby.
nah, like
Tease it.
like like day,
Tease up,
like all
baby.
day, baby. Peace out.